Back to another warm-up check. So we are still doing SOL released problems. This is going to be our practice for the SOL final exam kind of thing. This looks to be like a similar triangle. So I'm looking for what values prove JK and MN parallel. So JK and MN are parallel. If they're parallel, then these angles should be congruent and these angles should be congruent. I know I kind of made a mess of that, but I can find angle N with triangle sum. So all of those angles should equal 180. So 180 minus 61 minus 39 equals angle N. So I'm getting out my handy calculator. I suppose I could go to Desmos too. 180 minus 61 minus 39. Hopefully you've already done that and gotten 80 degrees. 80 degrees. So if I'm going to go switch my color, angle N is 80 degrees, which means angle J should be 80 degrees. So 3x plus, can't see that, need it to go away, plus 9 equals 80. So 3x equals 71. I feel like maybe that's not the right number. 5. That makes a little bit more sense. Oop. Got too many tools going on. There we go, fighting with the tools. 3x plus 5 equals 80. So if I subtract 5 from both sides, I'm going to get 75 and x equals 25. I'm going to go back and make sure I'm answering the right question. The value of x is 25. Because I've got those alternate interior angles. Alternate interior angles are congruent, right? Question number 2. Triangle ABC is reflected across the x-axis and then is reflected across the y-axis to create triangle A prime, B prime, C prime. So I showed both lines are reflection. I've got my pink line for the x and my orange line for the y. I'm ahead of the game. What are the coordinates of A? So the only one I care about is A. I'm going to flip over the pink line first. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. A started at 1, 4. 1, 4. Reflected over the x-axis. It was 4 above, so it went 4 below. The x doesn't change. The y does. So now it's 1, negative 4. And then I'm going to reflect it over that y-axis. It's 1 to the right, so I'm going to go 1 to the left. So it stayed at negative 4, and went from positive 1 to negative 1. And my answer should be 1, negative 4 down here. The coordinate values of the vertices K, L, and M are all integers. That just means they're whole numbers. Draw each triangle in a different color to determine which is congruent. Which set of coordinate pairs could represent the vertices of a triangle congruent to KLM? So this side is 3, this side is 4. This is a right angle because I've got y equals 1 and x equals negative 5, or x equals 5, so I know that's perpendicular, so I can do 3 squared plus 4 squared equals c squared. It's going to be 9 plus 16 equals c squared, or 25 equals c squared, or c equals 5. So I'm looking for a triangle that has a side of 3, a side of 4, and a side of 5. So let's check. 0, 0. and 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 0, 5, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've got a side of 5. And then I'm not sure about those two. So I like the side of 5. I'm going to put a question mark there and see if I can eliminate anything else. This is a time-second question. You just have to do it. 0, 0, -5, 0, and 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here, I've got a side of 5 and a side of 4, but my hypotenuse is going to be longer than that. So I know my longest side is not going to be 5. So I don't need that blue triangle. So now -1, 1, -1, 1, -4, 5, -4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and -1, 5, -1, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've got a 3. I've got a 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, and I had a 3 and a 4. That makes 5. I like this purple one. Let's try one more. -1, 1. I hate it that they're all overlapping. -1, -4, -1, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 2, 1, 2, 1. So I've got a side length of 3 and a side length of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But my hypotenuse would be here, which would have to be bigger than 5. So it can't be this one. So of my choices, I think C is the best answer. And this is just a time-second question. You've got to just plot all those things, and it takes a long time. So just commit to the work, and it's not hard work. It's just a lot of work. And good luck. Label all the angle relationships that help you. A diagonal walkway cuts through a border with 2 parallel lines. So 2 parallel lines. So this street and this street are going to be parallel. I'm going to mark those with arrows. The Parks Department plans to add an additional walkway indicated by this dotted line. What is the value of X? So if I put in my transversal, these angles are going to be the same, which means this one is going to be 132. I can use triangle sum or linear pair to find, I should make that a y maybe. Let's make that a y since I already have an x to find y. So 132 plus y should equal 180. So 180 minus 132 should give me y. So that's going to be 8. Is that 48? So y equals 48 degrees. 48 degrees. Those are linear pair and a linear pair, and I've got alternate interior angles. Now I've got this, let me get a different color. Now I've got this triangle with a corner that's 48 and a corner that's right. So now I can use triangle sum. 180 minus 90 minus 48. Or because I know this is a right triangle, my two acute angles should add up to 90 degrees. So I just do 90 minus 48. Either way, we should get X equals, dun, dun, dun. What is 48? 90 minus 48 is 42 degrees. Okay. Just got to think through that a little bit and see all those angle relationships. Dump everything you know onto the paper and see what comes out. The diagonals of a square measure 14 centimeters, which is the length of the side of the square. So I don't have a picture. I'm going to draw one. I know in a square, all my sides are equal and all my corners are right. And then I know I have a diagonal, and the diagonal is 14. So the diagonal is a square of 14, the length of the side. What is the length of the sides of the square? So I can do A and B, and I know those are the same, so I can erase the A and the B and just make it S for side, right? So the side squared plus the side squared should equal 14. If I have two of these, I should be able to do 2s squared equals 14, I think. And then divide by 2 and divide, 14 squared, however. Almost forgot that, equals 14 squared. So 14 squared is, my calculator doesn't want to open. 14 squared is 196, and 196 divided by 2 is 98. So s squared equals 98. You can find the radical of that, or you can put it into your calculator and do the square root of 98, which is 9. S equals 9.899, repeating. So then I'm just going to go through and do my 7 times the square root of 2. If I put this in the calculator, I get 9.899. That looks to be my answer. I can double check all of my other answers. 7 and the square root of 3. That's going to be 12.12. That's not going to work. And if those, if the 14 is bigger, you can always test those in the calculator, but those are going to double. So this is going to be 19 point something, and this is going to be 24.24. So those are not going to work, and it's going to be A. What are the values for X and Y that make these congruent? So when they're congruent, sides equal sides and angles equal angles. That makes our life a little bit easier. So MN goes with PR. So PR, 3x minus 9 equals 24. You solve that equation by adding 9 to both sides. So 3x equals, that's a plus 9, by the way. So 24 plus 9 is how that should read. So that's 33, and x equals 11. So if x equals 11, it's not C and D. Then I come over here and I find my y. Y goes with N. That's the middle letter, so I need R. So R and N are equal. 41.4 equals 1.5y. Divide by 1.5, 1.5. If I do that, 41.4 divided by 1.5. Oops, I didn't clear my calculator. I hate it when I do that. 41.4 divided by 1.5. Should be 27.6. 27.6. Voila. And that is the end of our second warm-up. I miss you guys. I'll definitely see you tomorrow.